Hi everyone, and welcome to the CompTIA A Plus 220-1001 Module 1. Today's lesson is Lesson 1.7, BIOS Configurations Part 2. In this lesson, we're going to talk about configuration of the peripherals in the BIOS, specifically around security features. I'm your instructor, Bill Price. Okay, for today's lesson, so let's kind of go over our learning objectives. We're going to first start talking about virtualization support, how that's related to the BIOS. Then we're going to move and talk about hard drive encryption, full disk encryption, and see where that's related to the BIOS as well. Rounding out, we're going to talk about the TPM, the Trusted Platform Module, and a software called Lojack. Finally, we're going to talk about secure boot. So let's go ahead and get started. Virtualization support in the BIOS. In today's technology, virtualization has become a core basic software that we can use for a number of different possibilities. Virtualization software, of course, allows you to have two or more computers on your existing hardware, whether that's through VMware, Hyper-V, Windows virtual PC, and another of the different hosts. Again, it allows you to have virtual systems on top of your existing server or desktop. Now, virtualization starts in the core of the CPU. Computer virtualization is actually a processor CPU feature. And just like any other hardware in the BIOS, the motherboard is the centralized location for making changes to hardware. So, enabling this feature is done in the BIOS. You guessed it. Some processors do not support virtualization, so you have to check your manufacturer of your motherboard to see if it does support it. Now, enabling virtualization in the BIOS is as simple as turning on a switch. It's basically enabling that feature or disabling it if you didn't want to use it. Here in this image, we have just an example of an older BIOS, and you can see the Intel virtualization technology. It shows in enabled. And again, it's basically just enabling that feature to allow your CPU to take full advantage of that particular software. Here in the newer UEFI, you see it's the same thing. It's just a quick enabling of that feature, and that allows you to explore the full capabilities of virtualization right on your existing hardware. But again, check to see with your manufacturer if your hardware supports that or your BIOS supports that. Hardware encryption. Another security feature is hardware encryption. And again, today's technology and society, to encrypt your hard drive or your storage device is a necessity. To stop unwanted individuals from gaining access to your files and your information, drive encryption is a must. Now, if you're encrypting the drive, you may be thinking, how do you interact with that drive if it's encrypted, especially if you have an operating system on it? That's where a feature, or software rather, called Windows BitLocker comes into play. Windows BitLocker allows you to boot an operating system that is fully encrypted. It integrates with the TPM. Now that opens up another question. What is the TPM? The TPM is a Trusted Platform Module. The Trusted Platform Module, or TPM, is a specialized chip on the endpoint device that stores RSA encryption keys specific to the host system for hardware authentication. Now, it's either a chip or actually it sometimes could be built right into the motherboard or baked right in. Basically, again, it performs the encryption or the decryption of your device. So you have an operating system on your computer. The TPM performs the decryption of your operating system, allows you to go in and manipulate the files or use the system however you want to. And upon you exiting it out, it does the encryption of that and keeping your files safe from unwanted persons. Lojack for laptops is another software that's tied to the BIOS. It's for the protection in the event if your device is stolen. Now, previously, Lojack for laptops was known by the name of CompuTrace, actually, known in the automobile industry. If the vehicle was stolen, it could trace the vehicle. So Lojack for laptops is a software for specifically laptops. The software is built right into the BIOS of the laptop. Even if the hard drive were to be removed or replaced with another hard drive, the software would automatically install itself on that system. So virtually that device, no matter what operating system or no matter what hard drive it's installed on it, could be traced. Now, some of the features for Lojack for laptops includes a beacon or a phone home feature, basically that to trace the location of the device no matter where it's at. It's also have a theft mode, and what theft mode allows you to do is a remote lock or wipe. In the event that your device gets into the hands of an assailant or unwanted person, you can remotely lock or wipe that the device and remove all your files, keeping them from prying eyes. Also, there's another feature called a force startup password. Again, you can force your device to start up with a different password. Secure boot. Today's technologies keeping our system safe from malicious software at the boot level, protection it from infected drives or OSs. Now, Secure Boot is a UEFI BIOS specification, so it's on the newer BIOSes. So basically, it's a digitally secure signature of known good software. It's cryptographically secure. Your software will not operate unless the signature matches or does a comparison, and if changes are found, it will not run. Now, the supported operating systems for Secure Boot are Windows 8, Windows 8.1, Windows Server 2012, and our Windows Server R2. Also, outside of the Windows platform, there's other operating systems that basically can have a Secure Boot feature. Those operating systems are Fedora, OpenSUSE, Ubuntu, and others. So let's recap the things we talked about today. We talked about virtualization support and how that's tied in right to the BIOS. We talked about hard drive encryption and full disk encryption along with the TPM or the Trusted Platform Module and the Lojack software, again, tying back to the BIOS. Finally, we talked about Secure Boot and the Secure Boot as another layer of security that you can have on your systems that's, again, tied to the BIOS. All right, that was a great lesson. We will see you in the next session. Thank you very much for joining.